Netflix's Sirens is a dark and twisty psychological thriller that focuses on two sisters, Devon and Simone, who get tangled up in a mysterious world run by the rich and powerful Michaela Kell. The show pulls you in with suspense, secrets, and emotional damage that goes deep. But one of the big mysteries throughout the series is about Simone and her medication. Devon is clearly concerned that Simone has stopped taking her pills. But what exactly are these meds for, and why is it such a big deal if she stops? From the moment Devon shows up on the creepy and luxurious island of Sirens, things feel off. She notices that her sister Simone is completely devoted to Michaela Kell, her boss. But this devotion isn't just about loyalty, it's almost like obsession. Simone doesn't just follow Michaela around like a lost puppy, she shares gum with her, gets cosmetic procedures at Michaela's request, and even shares a bed with her at times. Michaela has a scary level of control over Simone's life, and Devon instantly suspects that her sister isn't in the right headspace. Devon becomes even more worried when she finds multiple prescription pill bottles in Simone's bag that clearly haven't been used. The seals are unbroken, or the pills are still full, which tells Devon that Simone is likely lying when she says she's still taking them. This moment is a turning point in the show because it adds another layer to Simone's condition, and Devon's fear isn't just about influence. It's about her sister's actual mental health, which seems to be spiraling under Michaela's grip. In episode 2 of Sirens called Talents, Devon looks more closely at the labels on Simone's medication bottles. One of them clearly reads Klonopin, which is a brand name for a drug called clonazepam. This medication is often given to people who deal with serious anxiety, panic attacks, or seizures. It belongs to a class of drugs called benzodiazepines. These are powerful tranquilizers that help calm the brain, but they also carry a high risk of addiction if not taken properly. Because of that, they're usually prescribed for short-term use or as needed, rather than long-term daily use. The bottle in Simone's bag says, "Take 1 capsule by mouth as needed," which matches how Klonopin is normally used, for managing sudden panic or extreme anxiety. This gives us our first real clue into what Simone is going through mentally. She isn't just dealing with everyday stress. She's dealing with serious, paralyzing anxiety that needs strong medication. And if she's not taking those meds, things could quickly spiral out of control. But Klonopin isn't the only prescription Simone has. While the show doesn't show us all the labels, we see that she has a large collection of pills in her bag. This suggests that she's being treated for multiple mental health issues, possibly anxiety, depression, PTSD, or mood disorders. It also shows that Simone's mental health is complicated and serious, and it needs to be managed carefully. That's why Devon is so upset and scared when she sees that Simone may have stopped taking them completely. As the show continues, we start to understand more about why Simone is on this medication in the first place. It all goes back to her childhood, and it's heartbreaking. When Simone was just 7 years old, her mother tried to take both of their lives in a horrifying way. She ran a hose from a car's exhaust pipe into the cabin while she and Simone were inside. Simone's mom died in the car, and Simone would have too, if Devon hadn't arrived just in time to save her little sister. It's the kind of trauma that never really goes away, and it left a deep mark on both girls. That terrible incident was just the beginning of Simone's trauma. After Devon went off to college, Simone was left with their emotionally distant and neglectful father, Bruce. Things got worse from there. Eventually, Child Protective Services took Simone away from him and placed her in foster care. But her time in the system was filled with more suffering. She was abused, neglected, and left without the protection she desperately needed. It wasn't until Devon dropped out of college and took custody of Simone that things started to improve. But by then, Simone was already scarred from years of trauma. These experiences left Simone with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, a mental health condition that causes flashbacks, panic attacks, severe anxiety, mood swings, and difficulty functioning in everyday life. It's a disorder that doesn't just go away with time. It requires therapy, support, and often medication. For Simone, that included drugs like Klonopin and likely antidepressants or mood stabilizers. These helped her manage the overwhelming panic, depression, and emotional highs and lows that followed her everywhere. Devon, as Simone's older sister and caregiver, had seen firsthand what could happen when Simone wasn't properly treated. She'd probably witnessed terrifying panic attacks or periods of emotional shutdown. That's why she was so desperate to make sure Simone stayed on her medication. She knew what was at stake: her sister's well-being, and possibly even her life. Throughout Sirens, we see signs that Simone's mental health is slipping. Her total submission to Michaela, her willingness to change her body and identity, and her emotional instability are all red flags. She seems to be clinging to Michaela as a form of escape from her own trauma, but in doing so, she's giving up her sense of self. It's possible that not taking her medication left her more vulnerable to manipulation. Without those pills, she was emotionally raw, anxious, and desperate for comfort, making it easier for Michaela to control her. Interestingly, by the end of the series, we learn that Simone had actually been approved to come off some of her medications by her doctor. This tells us that she had, at some point, learned to manage her mental health in other ways. But just because she had medical clearance doesn't mean she was truly ready. The timing, especially with everything happening on the island, raises concerns. Was she really stable? Or was she convincing herself, and everyone around her, that she was okay when she wasn't? Simone's relationship with Peter also adds a new wrinkle. After the events of Sirens, she ends up marrying him. But with everything we know about her mental health and emotional instability, it's hard not to wonder if she'll eventually need those medications again. Life isn't predictable, especially for someone living with PTSD. A stressful marriage, unresolved trauma, or even the memory of her past could easily send Simone back into panic attacks or depressive episodes. Whether she goes back on meds or not, she'll likely need ongoing therapy and support. So why does all of this matter? Because Sirens isn't just a creepy mystery, it's a story about mental illness, survival, and how trauma can shape a person's entire life. Simone's medication isn't just a plot point. It's a symbol of everything she's been through, everything she's fought to overcome, and how close she is to falling apart at any given moment. It also highlights how vital it is to have someone like Devon, someone who cares enough to notice the signs and step in. In the end, Sirens tells us that healing isn't always clean or permanent. Even when someone looks fine on the outside, they could still be struggling internally. Simone may have survived her past, but the fight to stay mentally healthy is ongoing. Her meds were never a weakness, they were part of her strength. The real danger came when she abandoned them under the influence of someone who didn't have her best interests at heart. Whether or not Simone will be okay in the long run is left a bit open-ended. But one thing is clear, she'll need more than just love and loyalty to recover. She'll need tools, support, and maybe even those pills again. Because when it comes to trauma, it doesn't just go away. It waits. And the best way to face it is with help, honesty, and care.